Remember when you saw me in the club, didn't show me any love? You was too busy popping bottles with the thugs. I know you was feeling up. Nah. Don't know why you're trying to.
Hi, y'all. So we are going to be organizing my bathroom because I need to. Okay. And I need to do more videos with y'all pertaining to my skincare. But y'all, when I tell you doing my skincare is a whole production, it is. Okay. So we're going to organize. I don't know if y'all can see all that stuff at the bottom, but I'm going to organize all of that with y'all. We're going to, I'm getting old. But we're going to do this together. Okay. So I have, oh my God, this is going to take me forever. I have organization carts, right? I'm going to link them down below in my Amazon store. But I have organization carts. I have 2 of them. And y'all are going to watch me organize this stuff. We're going to talk. Because I feel like the conversations that need to be had are not being had. Okay? And just remember, anything that's on this channel is always going to be for suicide prevention. Okay? The reason why a lot of people are deleting themselves are for the reasons that people do not talk about. Okay? And if I can help save a life with the Lord himself, baby, I'm finna do it. I'm just finna do it. Okay? So, as I organize, we'll talk. I'm gonna have to do another video with my skincare routine. Be patient with me, okay? The other reason why I'm doing this as well is because God is ready to elevate me. And it's becoming scary now because, like I said, I don't know if y'all were listening to me before, but people are getting a lot of different dreams about me, okay? And what I like to tell people is whenever a prophecy or somebody comes and tells you that they have a dream or anything like that, and it has to do with your future, take the meat and spit out the bones. What does that mean? Whatever you hear from different people about a dream about you, that's consistent, meaning the message, not the overall dream, but the message is consistent about you, then that's the message that God wants you to follow, okay? Now, the dream might not come to pass tomorrow or next year, but the dream is to let you know something is coming and I need you to prepare, okay? So, I don't care. I don't mind being transparent on this page to tell y'all what it is, but God don't want your girl to work no more, okay? And the funny thing is, back in the days, I used to tell people, bruh, I hate working, I hate going to work, I hate going to work, I hate going to work. And now, God is like, now it's time to come out because I got things for you to do, okay? And he's showing different people the same thing. So, this is what I want y'all to learn. Again, just because God is showing people the same thing about you does not mean do it right now. It means prepare for it to happen. So this, in the season of my waiting, is me preparing for it to happen. So what I've been doing is getting my house organized. Literally organizing everything. Because after my mom died, I will not lie to y'all, I let my house go. I let my house fall apart. Because the sad thing about depression, especially when you're an only child, people be like, oh, Danny, your mom died 3 years ago. You should be okay now. No, screw you. 1, I'm an only child. 2, I live in Florida alone. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And on top of me being an only child, me and my mother were best friends. My mother took a shit. I knew about it. Okay, like don't belittle my grieving process. I'm an only child. It's not like I have a sister or 4 sisters that I could call and be like, girl, I'm missing mommy today. Who the fuck I'm gonna call? Ghostbusters. That's who I'm gonna call. Okay? So, I don't mean to be rude, but so he has allowed me to be the steward of this house. I'm gonna steward it properly while we wait. Okay, because the one thing about me, I have so much stuff. I'm so glad I'm doing this. I am a chronic late person. And it's not because, look, unopened. What? I am a chronic late person, which means I'm always late to everything and all things, right? But the stuff that is within my heart, the stuff that I'm passionate about, the stuff that God has made me be a steward of perfection in, I'm never late to. So for example, choir rehearsal, never late. My fashion show when I did Fashion Week in New York City, baby, I woke up at 4 a.m. so that I could be prepared to get on that stage with my models. And it flowed, okay? Anything pertaining to my mental health resources, like my digital products, my books, stuff like that, never late for that stuff. Never late. My clothing line, when I set myself with certain deadlines with stuff, never late. Baby, if you ask me to get to work, baby, we always late because I don't care. But don't get me wrong, when I get to work, my work is stellar. Like nobody could top my shit. Like top nurse. Okay, I take it seriously, but the reason why I be late to stuff is because I literally be having a bunch of things in my head when it's time to go. A lot of people like to call it ADHD, which is my issue. So like with me, I was supposed to be diagnosed with ADHD, but my mother was like, no, we're not diagnosing you with that. You just need structure. That's it. Like everybody want to put their kids on pills. No. My mother was like, this is what we gonna do. Okay. We're going to give you some structure. You're not going to be watching TV all day, every day. You're going to have scheduled time for homework and scheduled time for studying. Okay. This is how you wind down your mind. Okay. But anyway, so, I realized that's my weakness. Like whenever it's time to go somewhere, I start overthinking and I literally will slow down because my brain is in overthinking mode. Okay. That's why I'm getting my certification in ADHD. Okay. So it'll be combined with my grief coaching certification nationwide. Okay. That's the things that I'm passionate about. Okay. So I'm working on those stuff so that I can serve the public. Oh my God. Y'all, if y'all see the amount of dust on this thing, oxide. Yeah. So I am in the process of doing everything. I'm going to take y'all on a journey with me. I'm getting my 2 certifications, one in ADHD and the other one in grief coaching nationwide certification. So that when I coach my clients through these things and they're suicidal, we're on top of the margin. Okay. We're not only am I going to help you save your life using the Bible and with God, but I'm also studying how your mind works and what you're grieving at that moment that makes you want to delete yourself. What you're going, girl, we're going to be so on the money with this. Okay. So that's also a part of my preparation. Why do I have this? Why do I have this back there? That's all. You see what I mean? That's also part of my preparation with never used. Wow. That's also part of my preparation with preparing for God to take me out of work and push me forward. So, am I going to lie to you and say that this process is easy? Absolutely not. because it's not easy. But when the message is the same, then the message is the same. Somebody's gonna be like, well, Dana, how do you know these people are not delusional? How do you know people are not delusional, thinking of things for you, baby? Because I've had strangers that I don't know come up to me and be like, da 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 da. God said da 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 da. Okay? For some of y'all, God might not be real enough yet. But for me, in my house, God is very real. And he doesn't play. Especially not about me. Especially when people try me or play me. Oh, daddy don't play when it comes to me. Okay. If you ever hear me say daddy, I mean God himself. That's the only person I call daddy now. But yeah, that's it. So, we're going to go into, just so that you guys know what was going on. We're going to go into, I got everything. I'm finna clean this out and we're going to have the conversation. We're going to have the hard conversations on this channel. If you get offended, it means it's a lesson. And if your heart breaks, it's just to keep you aware, okay? Don't take offense to it. Just see it as a lesson, okay? So, we're going to talk about my mommy before she died. Okay? Okay. Sorry, I had to move it. So, my mom was a woman of God, right? And she, prayer warrior, all the things, okay? But her weakness was me. So, I did keep in mind, this is not to bash my mother. This is not to, no, okay? So, I did put up a story time on TikTok where I was telling people about like certain things that my mom went through. I'm going to put it here. Watch that, okay? Hold on. So I'm not asking this man for money. Randomly, he would just give me money. He'd be like, hey, Dana, here's $5 for school. After you school, you know, you can go get snacks or whatever. Or here's $10 for school. After snacks, you can go get it. So I used to be like, okay, bet. So I took the money. If you offer it as a kid, I'm going to take the money as a kid, okay? Take the money. This had been happening for like, maybe like 2-3 weeks at a time, right? But I wasn't telling my mom. I was just like, you know, they're dating. Who cares? Like, she got to know that he's giving me money, okay? So I get a call from my mom at work one day, and she goes, hey, at the time I was home. She's like, hey, we need to talk. And I said, yeah, sure. She's like, how was school? Because, you know, trying to go into the conversation. I was like, oh, school is great, mommy, blah, blah, blah. I just got home. I'm getting ready to do homework, da, da, da. So she's like, okay, I need to ask you something. I said, yeah. She's like, when so-and-so gives you money, are you asking him for money? I said, no. So she's like, so he's giving you money? And I said, yes. And she's like, are you lying to me? I said, I swear to God, mommy, I'm not lying. She's like, I believe you. I said, why, what's wrong? She goes, well, when he gives you the money, he comes back to me and tells me he wants the money back. Okay, did you watch it? Okay. So, there were comments in there that was like, what was your mom thinking? So I responded to certain comments and I said, listen, at the end of the day, we got to understand that our parents are parenting for the first time in their life. On top of them parenting for the first time in their life, they are also surviving their own traumas, their own insecurities, their own everything, right? So it does not make them immortal to going through things and being human. It doesn't, okay? But the one thing that I can say about my mother is that she would address the situation, pray over me, move forward, okay? Now remember, I said that my mother's weakness is me. Keep that in mind. So, what she couldn't fight right away, she would fight in other ways, okay? But this is nasty. Look at this. But very subtly. Okay? And I'm not like that. I'm finna fight out loud. I'm finna get nasty with it. Like, mommy, she was the gentle spirit. I'm not the gentle spirit. I'm going to attack you and I'm not gonna, no. I don't care. I don't care because at the end of the day, I'm not giving the devil nothing to run with. Okay? So if I feel a thing, I'm gonna tell you I feel a thing. If my heart is broken, you're going to know that my heart is broken. I'm not holding back nothing because this is how sickness comes in. This is how cancer builds up. This is how indigestion starts. This is how cortisol levels are through the roof. And now you're overweight and you can't lose the weight. But what you're not understanding is the stress that's built up inside of you is because you're not opening your mouth. Are you guys understanding what I'm saying? Okay. So my mommy moved here in 2021 with my stepfather, which is the man that I'm talking about in that video. She moved here 2021 with him. Originally, she moved here because she wanted to be closer to me because I was in Florida and she was in New York. So she had told him, hey, we're going to wait a little bit until you can retire so that it could be fair ground. That way, one of us not working, the other one has to go to work, and then they're stressed in the house. That was the agreement. When I was sitting there, when she told him that, she told me that, and we were in New York because I went to go visit her. That was the agreement. Now, remember his history. Anytime he gave me money, he wanted the money back. As a kid, I must have been 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. He wanted the money back. That's a red flag. That's a red flag. Okay? So, this will also teach people as well. Stop going to people to ask for help if you do not know their history. If you do not know their history, stop. I don't care if your parents told you, yo, your auntie is rich. You don't know what's going on in that house. I did. Which is why I was always away from that house. Okay? Let's keep listening. Okay? So they moved here in 2021. They had to, I told my mother, I said, Mama, you can stay with me until y'all find a house because all right, let me start over. Mommy was getting pressure to move to Florida. And she's like, we can't do this right now. And I wasn't pressuring her because let me tell you one thing about me, I'm fucking independent, okay? I don't pressure nobody to do shit. So it's not me pressuring her. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Okay. She's getting pressure. Mommy's calling me. Your stepfather's bothering me about coming down there. We need to come down there now. He's unhappy. And I said, but mommy, he's not even at his retirement age yet. What is the rush? What is the problem? Oh, Dana, well, he's just exhausted. Okay, everybody's exhausted. Everybody's exhausted. What? Tell him welcome to adulthood. He's exhausted, Dana. He's getting old. Okay. His hands, his feet, and his legs still work, right? I'm not understanding. What's the problem? Anyway, so she agrees with him. They moved down here before the time. Listen to this now. They sold the house in New York. They moved over here so quick that they had no place to stay. You hear what I said? They had no place to stay. So I go, Mommy, you can stay with me until y'all find a house. Y'all could come with me. Now, mind you, nobody in my family know what the is going on. It's just me that knows what's going on and my boyfriend at the time. I said, Mommy, you could come stay with me. He could go to his brother. He not staying, yeah. Because what is the rush? He can go stay with his brother. You let me know what you want to do. She called me back. She's like, no, we're going to stay at Airbnb. It's just the right thing to do. I can't impose on your life. I'm like, sis, you're not imposing on nobody's life. You're my mother. You took care of me, baby. I'm finna take care of you. I know most kids are like, oh, my parents are supposed to take care of me until I'm 100. No, baby, grow up. you at some point, you take care of your parents. You do for your parents. Something. This narrative of my mom is supposed to give me money because, no, I never lived like that because I watched my mother struggle to get to where she was before she died. Okay? So she's like, no, we're going to stay in the Airbnb. Don't worry about it. Just come and see us every now and then. So I'm like, all right. I mean, if that's what you want to do, girl, I ain't gonna fight you. All right. But I have to keep an eye on you now because you here before your time. Now you're my problem. And not that you're a problem, but this man is a problem now because he's running the show. What? Because he has the husband a title? He has the title of being a husband? The math ain't mathing. So I said, all right, now I have to watch you. Because if he could get you to the level of getting down here before your time, he's gonna, okay? So now I'm sitting here, in charge of paying attention to my mom. So my mom's calling me certain times. Are you listening? Random times she's calling me. My mother don't do that. Random moments she's calling me. And I'm like, Mama, what's wrong? She's like, nothing. What are you doing? I'm like, nothing, Mama. What's wrong? She's like, no, I'm okay. Don't worry. I said, all right, Mommy. But I know my mother. I know there's something wrong with the lady, okay? Because why you sound so? She's calling me again different nights. I'm like, bro, something wrong. I said, but I'm not going to push it. Say, hey, Mommy, what's up? She's like, nothing. What are you doing? I said, nothing, coming from work or meal prepping or something, whatever. Because sometimes, like, my boyfriend at the time used to take me to ice cream dates and stuff like that. And she would always be like, oh, show me. And I would show her pictures. But then I started realizing I feel bad showing her these pictures and stuff because my stepfather wasn't doing that for her. But we would be going out on, like, different dates and stuff. And she wasn't getting the type of treatment that I was getting. And I realized, like, something ain't right. Okay? So she was like, oh, send me pictures when you go and do ice cream dates and stuff like that. And I would send it, but I would feel bad. Like, because I know she wasn't getting that type of treatment. So, anyway, focus on what I'm saying. So, all this is happening, and one night, I hope I don't cry. One night, this lady calls me it's after 10. I remember it was about to be like 10 o'clock. It's like 9:30, 9:45. Oh, don't cry. She calls me, and she's like, Dana, I need you to come over here right now. I said, Mommy, what's wrong? She's like, I don't feel right. I don't feel good. Just come over here right now. I said, Mama, I said, which Airbnb are you at? Because they had to switch Airbnbs for whatever reason. I didn't even ask that part because I was like, I'm going to get annoyed if I find out the real reason why. So they switched Airbnbs and so I said, okay, where's the Airbnb that you're at? And she's telling me, and I said, okay. I said, but Mama, like, tell me what's wrong. So she's like, no, I just prefer if you come over here. I said, okay. I said, give me a couple of minutes. I think I told her I was going to shower before I came. That way, when I came back, first of all, my mother never did nothing like that before. I said, give me a couple of minutes, let me shower. And then she hangs up the phone. She calls me back. I said, Mama, I'm coming. I said, Mommy, what the? So now I'm thinking somebody's dead. I'm thinking my stepfather is dead. Mind you, they're in Florida in the Airbnb. Don't have a place to live yet. But they sold the house in New York. Okay? Come down here because he needs to get down here quick. Comes down here. And then, Jesus. So, I can't make this up. So, all I hear in the phone, my mother's crying. She's bawling, crying. I'm like, Mommy, what happened?
You need to come here now. I'm depressed. Crying. I said, oh my God. I said, Mommy, but what happened? Come down here. I'm good. I can't. I said, Mommy, you can't. What? I'm coming. Like, what is it? So the person I'm dating at the time, he's with me in the room. He's like, Dana, just go to your mother. You can shower and you come back. And he's like, yo, I'm not gonna lie. I'm low-key pissed too, because I don't even want you going over there by yourself. And I said, I can do this by myself. Because he already knew what time my stepfather was on. Okay? Woman tell you, holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, her birthday, Valentine's Day, the man don't buy her nothing. He's like, oh, she have the money. She can go in the bank account and go get it. So now who have to run and get on plane, train, drive to go get my mother gifts so that she feels included in the holidays? Me and my boyfriend at the time. So he already knew what time my stepfather was on. So he was like, I don't even feel comfortable with you going out there by yourself. I said, bruh, I can do this, right? So he's like, I go and I'm going to text you every half an hour or so. If you don't answer, I'm coming. I said, bet. So I go by myself. I'm like, I'm probably going to have to get my mother out of there. She's going to have to come live with me until whatever. So, Lord God. So I get there. My mother usually has on a wig, right? The wig is off. She's bawling, crying. She got dookie braids in her hair. She's in big baggy clothes. And she's bawling, crying in a corner. The man is in another room sitting there. And she's like, I'm depressed. I shouldn't have moved down here. I shouldn't have let him convince me to move down here. I am so sad. And she's like, the depression that I feel, I can't even explain it. And I said, Mommy, I need you to dig deep. Because what this is sounding like, it's sounding like God told you not yet. And you listen to your husband anyway. Okay? And she's like, I think that's what it is. The lady cried. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, God, what is happening? If you are married, and this is not to discourage anybody from being married. If you are married, the purpose of marriage is for y'all to elevate together. 1, 2. When you are married, you are not to join brains with your husband. You are to still remain an individual because God made you an individual. Now you have to understand what God meant by man and woman become one when they're married. Yes, they do become one. You become one flesh, but you do not become one mind. Okay? If you think I'm tripping, go back into the Bible and read the stories of everybody that was married, because I had to go back and look too. Like, okay, God told my mother don't move here yet, but she did it anyway because she let her husband convince her that it was time to move. There are Bible stories where man and wife, yes, you are flesh, you are one, but there are Bible stories where God is specifically wanting the two parties to understand that you still have a separate mind. Just because your husband says to do something does not mean that you are supposed to do it. Let me give you an example. Ananias and his wife in the book of Acts, right? He told his wife, he said, listen, we're going to sell our property, sell everything that we have, and we're going to go to Paul and tell Paul that this is everything that we had, that we sold, and this was the earnings. Meaning he was telling his wife to lie when they got in front of Paul, okay? So they sold everything that they had, and Ananias said, hey, when you get there, because we're going to get there at different times, this is all that we got from what we sold, but this is what we're going to tell them that we received from what we sold, okay? The wife goes, okay, that is not a time to listen to your husband, especially if you know it's wrong. And sometimes when your husband tells you something and it sounds right, you still need to go to God about it, okay? I didn't even tell my family this, so y'all are getting first dibs on this shit, okay? Stay focused. So Ananias comes, and he comes to Paul, and he lies. And Paul says, bro, what you're bringing to us as from what you sold is your own free will. If you felt like you didn't want to give us all the money from what you sold, you were perfectly capable of keeping part and giving us part. It was not a requirement to lie and say you gave all when you're giving us some. So basically, you didn't have to lie to us. If you wanted to keep half of the money, you can. Nobody was forcing you to give all anyway, but you didn't have to come and say that you gave all when you're giving us some. Okay? That's the Ebonics version. So what happens? God strikes Ananias down, dies on the spot. And then there's a part in there that said, because you have lied, you also have lied to God. Ha! Are you listening to me? Okay. So the wife came right after. She didn't know that her husband was dead because they took the husband and they went and buried him. Let me tell you, God did not play back then. The type of grace that we have right now is grace and mercy completely because of Jesus Christ. So listen, the wife come up. She thinking, I'm going to do what my husband said. No, baby. No. She died too on the spot because she lied. I'll give you another story. Adam and Eve. The devil went to Eve, and said, did God really say that you can't eat from the fruit of the tree of life? And she was like, da 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 da. And she went and ate it. What was she supposed to do? Go and confirm it with her husband. Right? Okay. Adam came and ate the apple too. So you mean to tell me none of y'all wanted to confirm with God if y'all was supposed to eat this apple? The point is, go to God. Even when you are married and there is confusion, you go to God and you confirm. You don't just do because one partner said it and there's an order. You are with your husband. You become one, but there's still somebody above y'all, which is God. You still got to confirm with God. Okay. Okay. Am I making sense? Okay. So listen. So now, in the midst of the crying, let me tell you, I've never seen my mother cry like this before. So this was literally conviction that she was feeling. So I said, Mommy, what do you want to do? And she's like, nothing. We're here already. Right? But she's like, that's not the only problem. Mind you, my mommy, bawling, crying. I said, Mommy, what's the other problem? She's like, your stepfather. He's giving me grief. I said, grief about what? And she's like, oh, he's telling me I need to be prettier. I need to fix up myself. I need to shave. He wanted her to be more attractive. Okay? So I said, well, that's not my department. I can't. So she's like, can you please talk to him? I said, are you sure? I said, I'm not talking to him by myself. He needs to come in this room. So I call him. I said, what's the problem? Oh, I just want your mother to look better. All right, why don't you tell her that? Like, she's right here. You can tell her. So you mean to tell me I came down here? I said, you can tell her that. She's right here. Tell her. I told her, but she's not listening. I said, all right. Mommy, did you hear what he said? Yeah, I heard what he said. She's still crying. But then she's like, Dana, he's making me miserable. He's rude to me. He yells at me. He talks to me like I'm a child. I said, oh, baby, that's... one thing about me, you can't tell me you doing stuff like that to my mother, because it's gonna end up me not liking you. And I already had an issue with this man as it is. Okay. So in my mind, baby, okay. So I don't want to say, but in my mind, you gotta go. My mother, she's a very giving person. She will give her last to make sure that you're okay. Anyway, so there's that. So let me just sum up the situation. He wanted her to shave her hoo-ha and was telling me that I need to tell her to shave her hoo-ha because it's unattractive. Y'all, I stayed there for like 2 hours calming down the situation. So she's battling moving down here before her time, and she's battling her husband attacking her because to him, he felt like she wasn't keeping up with herself. But he wasn't saying it in a way where she can receive it. He was saying it in a way where he was bullying her. Okay? And I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, damn, I don't have this problem with my boyfriend at the time. I don't have the problem where he belittles me or bullies me by telling me like stuff like that. And I can't remember exactly per se, but I know the feeling that I felt for my mother. And I was like, bro, this is why I always felt like whenever I went on dates with my boyfriend at the time, that I felt bad sending her pictures. And I was feeling bad for her for a reason. And this was the reason. He was not being good to her. So there's that, right? Then there was the, okay, well, we got to find a place to live because we're here already. Like, we can't go back to New York. And in my head, I'm like, bro, you can still ask God what to do, because if he tell you to go back, he tells you to go back. But I was like, this is not my business, and I can't get in between married people business. So we're going to leave it as such. And I'm just going to support my mother with whatever she wants to do. Y'all, when I tell y'all all of this is just garbage, it's garbage. Like, all of this is garbage now. I only have like one stuff. Everything else is expired. No good. Lord God. Sorry, y'all. I'm all over the place. So now they have to look for a house. Let me finish this up. They have to look for a house, all the things. So they find the house. I'm driving them around looking for the house with them. I didn't mind doing that because they didn't have a car yet either. But later on, my mother buys him a car for $70,000. Did I not tell you that my mother is a giving person? Anyway, so she buys him a car for $70K. She gets him a house in Grenada. Her money buys him a house in Grenada. Okay, my mother's just that type of person, right? But they're still going at it at home. I'm still, when I would go see my mom, same complaints. Oh, you need to tell her to shave her pum pum. Oh, you need to tell her to, bro, this is your wife. Why are you telling me to tell her? You tell her. This is your wife. Like, the math is not mathing to me. This is not my business. But anyway, because my mother's telling me to get involved, I said, Mommy, well, can you at least cut the hairs down a little bit? Like, I shouldn't be involved in this. But anyway, I wrote more about it in my ebook down below. Okay. And then, so anyway, whole situation is becoming a headache. Again, I'm the only child, whatever. Anyway, down the line, we have family members come and see my mom. Okay. But before we get there was a situation where my biological father, we're not going to talk about him in this video because it's going to be too long. My biological father comes in and he's like, oh, I need to tell you something. I said, what's up? Has your mother ever told you what she tried to do to you? I said, what's the point of this? Because let me tell you something. My biological father is so bitter. So bitter. So bitter. I said, what happened? What did she do? So he goes, oh, when you were a baby, she tried to drown you in a pool. And when I came home from work, I found you And I'm the reason why you're actually still alive. So I said, Lord, woo! I took a moment. I hung up with him. I took a moment and I said, I'm going to hit up my mother. I asked my mommy over the phone. I didn't even go to her house. I didn't go to her house. I just asked her over the phone. I said, Mama, did you try to kill me when I was an infant? She was like, she didn't even hesitate. She said, I did. But she was like, this was right after you were born. I was in postpartum depression. I was so sad. I was depressed. Your father was beating me and I just wanted out. And I said, wow. So she's like, I'm so sorry and I love you so much. And I promise you, I was just at a very low moment. Your father was beating me and I wanted out. I would buy you food. He would come in, destroy your food, pour out your milk or drink your milk, and then turn around and tell me, go find a way to feed Dana. And then she's like, I bet you he's not telling you that part. And I said, no, he didn't tell me that part. But anyway, forgave her. We moved through it. Now there's a healing process that's going on. So my mother's unhappy in her marriage. She's telling me that there's women coming to the house looking for my stepfather now. AKA he's cheating. Okay, I have proof. I put it in my ebook. She's like, she's trying to help me through the process of processing that she did try to when I was a baby. There's that. Now family comes. They come see her. House is beautiful. My mother's house is top tier. 5 bedrooms, pool in the backyard, beautiful. But just because you see the glitz and glam does not mean that there is not chaos and strife behind closed doors, okay? Now remember who she's married to. So, the family comes and I said, good, because I was still struggling with my own battles of how do we trust this man? Because I know more than he thinks I know. I know about the time when you were in New York and you cheated on my mother and my mother found out and my mother called the bitch and she was like, oh, is he coming to see you? Do you know him? Da, 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 da. And the lady said, yeah, he only comes to me on the weekends and we have sex over the weekends. You think I don't know, player? Baby, Dana know everything. Okay? So I had to structure myself and my mind to, all right, Dana, you got to get some guts to go see your mother because now your mother needs you and she moved here in Florida and you gotta. Okay? So I'm structuring all these things in my head. Now, keep in mind, I said, my mother is telling me that there's women coming to the house looking for my stepfather. And he's telling them at the door, yo, why are you here? My wife is here. Da, 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 da. And my mother's downstairs, creeping downstairs, listening to them beefing at each other because they're doing the do. And there's a woman in Grenada as well. Came to the house. Then my mother bought him doing the same shit. Okay? My mother's telling me this. So family came over. When family came over, I was like, oh, great. Now he can't play fool. He can't try to play my mother. He's going to have to act like a real husband this time. Okay? So I said, great. So they come over. They, whatever. They stay for a couple of days. Keep in mind, this is my mom. My mom calls me one night. I guess they had left by the time she had called me. I'm thinking everything went great because this man had to act like a real husband. Okay? Now. All right, y'all. So I just finished. This is what it looks like. I'm so proud. I don't know if y'all saw it. Oh, I should have showed y'all before what it looked like, but this is what I look like. What it looks like now. So clean, so spacious, all the needed things all together. Okay. So now I'm going to continue with my story. Hold on. All right, y'all, I'm back. So let me finish this story for y'all. But right now I'm opening this box for my backyard. This is going to be like a container holder for it. I'll show you. I'm trying to fix this house up so that, because I really let this house go. Ever since my mom died, girl, no. It's a mess. So I'm literally trying to fix everything up. But anyway, back to the story. So family comes to see my mother. Don't look. Don't look.
family comes to see my mom, and then they come and see her. So my mom is like, "Hey, Dane." My nickname is Dane. If you ever hear me say Dane, that's the name that my mom calls me, and some of my family members call me, not all. So she's like, "Hey, Dane, your cousins and your aunt and uncle is here." I was like, "Oh, great. So he's gonna have to be respectful, right?" This is what I'm thinking in my head. So I'm like, great. So they come over, all the things, and mommy has company now, right? Mind you, wait. So also before they come, there's a situation where a guest came to my mother's house, and that's attached to him. Came to my mother's house. They were in the backyard. My mom's cooking for everybody in the backyard. This is prior to my family coming, okay? She's cooking for them and my stepfather and whoever. And then my mom says that, like, I think she either had a headache or something happened with her. And she said she went upstairs to take a nap. A certain someone came to her room and was watching her sleep. Like, and I said, "Mommy, are you sure that?" She was like, "Dane, I at one point pretended to keep sleeping because the person was literally hovering over me, watching me sleep." I was like, "Mama, what?" So I'm like, "Mom, are you going to tell my stepfather what happened?" And she's like, "I don't know. He's not going to believe me. It's going to start a fight. And I'm already contemplating if I want to stay with him anyway." So now these things are happening. My mom is trying to help me heal from finding out that she did try to drown me as an infant. The person that came to the house watching her sleep is connected to my stepfather. She's nervous about telling him. She's not sure if she wants to stay with her husband. Women are coming to the house looking for this man because he's still cheating at 60-something years old. You're nasty, okay? And she's telling me these things. So 4 different things are going on. Now, family comes. They're coming to see her. Remember, the 5th thing is, for years, this man has not bought her a gift or a present. I'm the one buying her gifts or presents. Birthdays, Valentine's Days, Christmas. He don't buy her nothing. Okay? I'm going to tell you why. Now listen. Now, family comes over. Remember, these 5 things are going on in my mother's life. She's stressed out. I'm the only one that knows about it. Nobody else knows about it in the family. Family comes over. Aunt, uncle, cousins come over. Everybody's so fascinated with my mother's house. My mother's house is beautiful. Like I said, 5 bedrooms, pool, backyard, all the things. Exquisite, right? Is it 5 bedrooms or 4? 4 bedrooms. 1, 2, 3. 3, 4, 5. I don't know. Listen, whatever. I think it's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, or 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. I cannot remember off the top of my head, but it's one of the 2. Right? So they come over. Now I'm happy that my mom's happy because family's over. And now my stepfather has to be fake. He has to be a real husband now. Okay, whatever. I go see them. Kiki, we eat some food. Kiki, I go home. I came with my boyfriend at the time. Come back home. I had to go to work the next day. The following day after that, they leave. My mother calls me. I said, "Hey, Mama, how was it? I know you were so happy. Everybody came to see you. I know it's exciting time." She's like, "Yeah, but." I said, "Oh, God, what happened?" So she's like, "There was a request made." I said, "By who?" So I'm thinking my stepfather because the man is already an animal, okay? So I said, "What he want?" She's like, "No, that wasn't the problem." I said, what happened?" She's like, "Well, there was a request made for me to help 2 people buy a house. And the request was made in front of your stepfather." And I said, "Oh, shit." And she's like, "Exactly. But," she said, "you're the only one that understands what's going on in this house." I said, "Bruh." I said, "Well, Mommy, what did you say?" And she's like, she's like, "First off, I'm annoyed because they asked me in front of your stepfather, which also brought up a red flag to me because why aren't y'all talking to Dana? Dana bought a house too. If y'all wanted a house so bad, the first thing to do is to ask my daughter so she can give you tips and tricks about buying a house. 1, 2, why would you ask me in front of my husband? And you don't know the dynamics in this house. I said, Now, keep in mind, she's in the house with my stepfather. So my stepfather comes on the phone. Remember, sometimes my mom would have 2 different faces. God forgive me, but I need to tell the truth. Sometimes she would favor my stepfather so that they wouldn't fight, which is what a lot of wives do. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just whatever. And then sometimes she would have on her own face where it's, y'all got me fucked up type thing, okay? So I know the face that she was presenting to me at that time when she told me that she was asked to help buy them a house was the face to please my stepfather. So I kind of sat on the phone. I was like, okay, well, let me hear. So my stepfather comes on because he heard the conversation. He's like, and you know, Dana, why didn't they come to you? I said, I don't know, because they were at your house. And he's like, but you have a house. And he's like, you didn't ask us for a penny. 1, 2, when you got that house, you got it, you closed on the house with your own money, and then you figured out a way to get the furniture. You worked overtime. My stepfather's saying all of this. You worked overtime. You figured out how to put groceries and stuff in your fridge, and you're not even married. You don't have no kids. So it's only one you doing everything at the time when you bought that house. This house is old. This house is like, when I moved in here like eight years ago, and I was single at the time. So it was me doing everything. Like, bought the house, closing costs for the house was $10,000. I had no furniture in this house. What I had to do, I had to wait till my next check to get furniture. Mind you, I still had to pay a mortgage. When I tell you I was eating oodles and noodles and boiled eggs, baby, for months. Okay? Figuring it out. And my mother was like, you sure you don't need money? You sure you don't need money? I'm like, no, mommy, I'm fine. Had no furniture, was sleeping on the floor. Are you fucking kidding me? So it's like, I'm not gonna lie, when they presented it to me, I was like, bro, who raised them? Like, what would make you have enough sense to go to somebody's house and ask them to help you buy a house when it's 2 of y'all? Both of y'all have feet and legs to go get jobs, right? It was one of me and I was doing everything by myself. What are you talking? Who raised you? Who raised you? And then my mother got 5 different things going on in that house. She's stressed. She's not sleeping. She's not eating. Y'all don't even know that. Y'all just see the glitz and the glam and don't know what the fuck is going on behind these closed doors. Now, here comes the next conversation. And I couldn't even lie about it. Dana, you know, it also brought this up to my, what she said, this also fell on me. I was like, yes, mommy. Now he gives my mom back the phone. I said, yeah, mama, what happened? She's like, mind you, whole time they're talking, I'm just on the phone like. So I said, yeah, mama, what happened? She's like, are they talking to you at all? I said, well, because, you know, I'm trying not to entertain the ego of my stepfather because I know he's there, he's listening. Because remember, he took the phone from her. I said, well, you know, they're busy. I'm trying to defray from the question. Ma, they're busy, and she's probably going through life, and she's, trying to defray away from the question. My stepfather go, did you hear what your mother asked you? I said, I heard, but so my mother goes, Dana, do they talk to you? I said, no. I'm not gonna lie no more. So my mother's like, what do you mean they don't talk to you? When I say they, she's only referring to one person. So she's like, so you mean to tell me when she graduated, she didn't tell you? I was like, nope. She was like, okay, all these milestones that she was hitting, she wasn't texting you and letting you know. I was like, nope. My mother's like, what's going on? Did y'all have a fight? Nope. Here go my stepfather. I know why she not talking to Dana. She not talking to Dana because she's jealous of Dana. I said, bruh, I don't know. I can't tell you why. I don't know. So my stepfather goes, you mean to tell me you're married to a man? Y'all want house. It's 2 of y'all working. And you come here and you ask for we to buy y'all house? I said, this is not to trash talk on anybody, but my point is, if you don't know the dynamics that's going on in people's house, don't bring yourself to ask somebody to buy you a house and both of y'all are completely capable. Because what now happens is now he's putting more stress on my mother. And my mother was already stressed. So now it's 6 stressors going on in that house. And who got to hear the butt of it? Dana. So I'm sitting there like, bruh, I'm sitting there like, bro, what the hell? So now my mother's upset because she feels as though my cousin should be talking to me. And I'm telling her, don't get in your feelings about none of that, because at the end of the day, she grown. She can do whatever the hell she want to do. She grown. She don't have to talk to me. Yeah, but my mother's like, yeah, but Dana, you know, like, you're my child. And that was the first time I understood. Like, you know how in the Bible it says, like, nobody could come to the Father except through the Son? That's how my mother was thinking. My mother was thinking, but you're my daughter. Like, how dare you bypass my daughter to come to me? And you know that my daughter bought a house. You could have got tips and tricks from her. You could have came in here with a plan to buy a house. You could have came in here with a deposit. You could have said, hey, we spoke to Dana. We see everything that she did. Do you have, because I had a lot of tips. Like a lot of the stuff that I got from my house or for my house, I didn't pay money for it. It's just that I was in different programs. Bruh, they could have, because my mother knew that, she was like, they could have came to you and asked, like, what did you do? They didn't even bother coming to you. They just came to me. And that's, like I said, that's when I understood, like, what God was saying when he's like, you can't come to the Father but through my son. Like, how dare you skip my kid and go to me? Like, that's how my mother was thinking. And I said, Mommy, do not take it personal. I said, if anything, try to get closer to her. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. Okay? So, but in my head, I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking, bro, who raised you? Like, you have a husband, the 2 of y'all could work. You know how many programs there are out there for first-time home buyers? You know how much, like, you could get just because this is your first home? Like, grants, like, no, y'all just went to my mother. So my mother took it as, like, she took it hard. She did. And then you got my stepfather. Now, let me tell you why my stepfather was pissed. So remember I told y'all, he cheated on my mother when they were living in New York, and my mother had called the lady and was like, and the lady was like, oh, he only comes over here on the weekends when we have sex, and then he goes back home to you. The lady was bold. My mother called me and told me, I said, baby, what? I said, Mama, what we doing? You staying with this man? You can come live with me? Like, what we doing? She's like, no, I'm gonna stay. I said, okay, well, I love you no matter what you choose to do. I love you, okay? When she addressed him with that, now, this is not the first time he fucked up, because when he first met her, he was married. Don't judge my mom, just listen. First time he met her, he was married. When my mother found out that he was married to this woman and addressed him, he was like, oh, no, that's my cousin. So my mother was like, oh, okay. And my mother was like, oh, I'm tripping. My mother told me, she's like, oh, no, that's his cousin. So now my mother is buying his cousin gifts for Christmas, gifts for Thanksgiving. And my mother's like, but it's still not making no sense. So then he finally admitted that was his wife. So now they separated until he got a divorce, and then they got back. My mom and him got back together. Okay. So now, hey, Lord God, forgive me. This is the second fuck up that he did. So now it was, whenever you get paid, I want all your money to go to my bank account. This is my mother telling him this. So he agreed to it because he been fucking up. All his money goes to my mother's bank account. So when y'all bring yourselves to come to my mother's house and ask her to help y'all buy a house, what is he thinking? They finna take all my money. Now he knows that I know that my mother is having all his money go to my mother's bank account, right? He knows that I know because I know about his. He doesn't know that I know that he was fucking up as often, but he knows that I seen him fuck up in front of her. He doesn't know the secrets that my mother was telling me about him fucking up. So, because all his money is going to my mother's bank account, he's thinking in his mind, oh, they coming to get my money too. Again, who raised y'all? So now my mother's on edge. And she's like, oh, well, now he's going to be thinking I'm just out here giving our family money. So now he's on edge. So he's stressing her out more. Again, who raised you? Why don't you have a fucking backbone with your husband? That's the first question. That's what I was thinking. So I took that to heart because now my mother's pissed off. Y'all not coming to me asking me for tips. 1. 2, he's mad at my mom because he's thinking, well, she's secretly giving her family money. 3, when my mother's stressed, she brings that to me. But she's on the phone with y'all saying, oh, man, I wish Dana would get married. Oh, man, I wish Dana would give me grandchildren. Oh, man, Dana don't answer the phone. But, baby, when I do answer that phone, I'm hearing about the shit that she's going through in that house. Not feeling safe, wanting a divorce, ready to leave him. They're bickering back and forth. He wants money for his grandkids. They're fighting about money. Again, who raised y'all? Why? My thought is, why don't y'all have a fucking backbone? Because now, when I pick up the phone, it's mommy stressed about this nigga. So it's like, and again, this is not to come at anybody, but it's like, all of these things that was happening leading up to my mother's death, it pissed me off. It pissed me off. The final straw on the back, which I can't say right now, I'll say in another video, I feel like that's what did it for her. That's why this lady is gone. All these things was piling up. So please, learn how to be independent. Look at me. There's no brother, sister. I don't have no mother anymore. My biological father is a deadbeat. He don't call me. He don't see how I'm doing. And I'm his kid. I'm in Florida by myself. None of y'all could endure anything that I have been through and still fucking walk. And be suicidal on top of that. I was suicidal, but you wouldn't last a day in my shoes. So to me, I don't understand why people don't have backbones anymore. You got a husband, baby. I don't have no fucking husband. If anything happens, it's on my own. Like, if anything happens, I'm on my own. There's nobody for me to lean on. Like, I don't... What? And then you have my mother stressed out on top of it because now she's thinking, oh, your cousin hates you. Imagine a lady dying with that thought. What? And then to have her reminded of it with the man that she's living with. Oh, yeah, she don't like Dana. She jealous of Dana. That's why she's not talking to Dana like that. Because anybody with common sense would know, anybody that has what you want, you go to that person first. You don't just go to their parents. I said, and I couldn't even fight him one day. I'm like, bro, you right. As wicked as you are, you're right. So now my mother got all this worry in her brain. The math ain't mathing. So please, parents, if you have a husband that want their money back after they give your kids money, leave. If you have a husband, because look at me now, my stepfather is so wicked. He's telling people I stole thousands of dollars from him. Nigga, you don't got no money. You don't have no, what money I take from you? Tell the truth. Tell the truth. And it's because she wasn't ready to leave him. But I supported her every step of the way. I said, Mama, if you don't want to leave this man, I love you regardless. But I did not know that after she died that he was going to come after me the way that he did. And it's like, I should have known because all the signs was there. But parents, please be careful who you marry. Before you marry somebody, ask God if that is who you're supposed to marry. And if you are if you already married the wrong person, the person is treating you so bad, do not commit suicide because you think you're the only one going through all this bad stuff. You go to God. You say, God, look, this man that I married, I didn't even ask you if I should marry him, but I'm going to be real with you and say, I don't want to be here. Go to God. Say, God, this man is making me want to commit suicide. Go back to God. And listen to him when he tells you whatever you're supposed to be doing. Because God still speaks. We have this in our mind that God don't talk no more. He talks. If you are the type of person that is jealous of a family member, because I'm just taking what he said, please repent. My old pastor used to be like, repent. So like I'm reminiscing. But anyway, please go back to God, because jealousy and envy, that is a disease. It will make you sick. It will literally make you sick. The people that you are jealous of, you have no idea what those people had to go through to even breathe throughout the day. All you see is what they have, but you did not see the journey that they went through. Go back to God if you are jealous and have envy for any family member or friend around you. Go back to God. Say, hey, God, I am jealous of Dana. I hate the fact that she's single and don't have no kids and still pushing forward in her life. And then on top of that, her mother is dead and she's still successful. Go to God. He wants to hear all of it. But you cannot break free from the jealousy or envy if you hide it. Secrets doesn't benefit nobody. Go back to God. Then after you go to God, go get some of my ebooks. There's one that's called Waiting on God While Wanting to Die. Go read that. Go read that. Okay? Parents, if you again are with a man who is treating you so bad, do not commit suicide. If he has cheated on you multiple times and now you want to commit suicide, do not do it. Don't do it. Okay? I hope I'm helping somebody.